Welcome. You're watching the market wrap right here on BloombergQuint Live. Today's session proved to be a break from the usual trend that we've been seeing. The markets ended on a positive note, with the Nifty gaining more than 2.5%. Some contribution came from the banking index as well, but there was a stark underperformance today too. So 1.7% for the Nifty Bank. Good afternoon, Neeraj. And it looks like today, while there was support that came in from the banks, it was IT that took charge.
Yeah, and we were talking about it on Countdown as well, Devina. But just wondering, as in, one, of course, what Infi did and is one part, but banks somehow seem to be missing that. Maybe it's a crisis of confidence moment, I reckon. It's showing in the way the trades are, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And for a day like today, when the Dow futures have signaled a positive move, for the index not to react to that was a surprise, because we've almost mapped what the US equity markets have done over all these days. I just want to take a look at the quick moves that came in and on the index and the contributors thereabout. So Infosys had a big day today. It was up about 14%. The Nifty IT index itself ended with gains of 6% plus. Aside from that, Adani Ports, Britannia Industries, Bajaj Finance, quite contrary to Bajaj Holdings and Bajaj Finserv, actually ended with gains of about 11%. Maruti Suzuki, HCL Tech were some of the other gainers. Amongst the losing end, Grasim, IndusInd Bank, and I'll come to IndusInd Bank in a bit, but Bharti Infratel, ITC, all of them lost out. The other point, obviously, being India VIX, Neeraj, and how that has been scaling. Now, we have, the highs of the global financial crisis placed at about 85.13. Today's session saw India VIX climbing by 18%. That brings it to about 83.6. These are still extremely elevated levels. Now, while we've been talking about how CBOE VIX in the US has been coming down, that is also, quite contrary, because even the stocks are coming down. And therefore, that's also not happened in a really long time that they moved together. Some say it's also because, people in riskier assets have already moved out, so they don't need much to hedge, and therefore CBOE VIX is coming on.
Yeah, well, maybe that's the reason. But these days, it's become slightly difficult to discern the action and the mood of the markets as well. I think a couple of things got to keep in mind that the last few days, today's buying as well, though it happened on slightly higher volumes. Yesterday's selling didn't happen on high volumes at all. 33,000 crores of market volumes, and the market saw a crackdown. Let's see if indeed this is the start of a short bear market rally, which what a lot of people believe could happen. Then the question will be whether it happens on good volumes or no. And David, I think there are levels out here to suggest that maybe there could be some supports in place, right? Because typically, though we did overshoot, and that could very well happen this time around as well, but these are key support levels from where India has bounced back in the past. Yeah,
in terms of valuation. So this is, the forward, 12-month forward PE ratios, and this is the median line, the 15-year average PE ratio. The upper two green lines are the 1 standard deviation and 2 standard deviation away from mean. Now, already, if you take a look at it, this was the global financial crisis. So we jumped below the 2 standard deviation on the downside, but our bounce back was equally sharp. And now we're already looking slightly oversold and cheap on valuations for our current correction, which brings us down to a valuation of 10.5 times.
Yeah, so let's wait and watch if that happens. I think the next few days will tell, though I would believe, and I don't know what are your thoughts, but I would believe that for the markets to have a sustainable rally, the weakest hand right now, which is banks, need to participate. That's about 35% of the weightage. Without that participating, it's difficult to see the markets moving up.
Yeah, and it is important to also figure out, the finance minister has alluded to coming out with this economic package. Let's see what gets doled out. The markets, I think, are really anticipating something to come out from that.
Yeah, there's an 8 p.m. message from Prime Minister Modi as well, so that's something that will be important. We will be here bringing you that message from Prime Minister Modi as well. But for now, this is how the markets have shut shop from Dean and me and the entire team. Thanks so much for tuning in.